I'm going to go ahead and open up my silhouette. So today's webinar will be working with creating custom designs. So this will kind of be more, I won't go over explaining the tools as much as I do in my basic webinars. This is kind of like going in with a basic understanding. So for those of you in here, how many of you are working in Designer Edition, or are some of you still in Silhouette Studio, or maybe even Business Edition like my screen has? Great. So Designer Edition, Business Edition, Designer Edition, great. So a lot of the tools that I'll go over you have in Designer Edition. I won't go over any tools in Business Edition that you don't have. There's not a whole lot of different tools, but there are some tools that are different that I do like having. But everything I go over you will have in Business Edition. So I'll go ahead and get started. So how many of you have seen, there's a couple things I'm going to go through today. So how many of you have seen the baby Milestone pack that we were selling, what we are selling? So it's like 1 month, 1 year, all that fun stuff. Have any of you purchased that? Okay, so you have. How do you like it, Jerry? Good, good. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring that in and kind of start with that. So this is something that it's a custom design that what we try to do here is we try to set up these designs for you quickly so you can save time making them. So I'm going to go over here and open it. So I have my child milestone pack. So when you bring it in as an SVG, when you first get it, it has every single one in here. See how many are in here? It is quite a few. So I've been working on this a little bit. I am at a time of my life where everyone is getting married and having kids. So actually yesterday was my 2-year wedding anniversary with Nick, who is in here. So we're one of those couples that work at the same place. But so many people are having babies, and so I'm excited because I can make all of these cute little designs. So I'm going to show you how to make a 1-year design with our pack very quick. So when you get an SVG file from us, what we do is we group it all into one object. That way the file is smaller and it can load quicker in your Silhouette Studio, and it won't slow down your software. So the bigger it is, you know, the more time it's going to take you to open it, and then, you know, depending on how much space you have in your computer, it could slow down your computer all around. So I'm going to go over here. I have all of these selected, and I'm going to go to Object and Ungroup. So now you can see that everything is ungrouped. So if I were to take this and pull that out, it's going to pull just that shape out. So what you want to do is you want to grab the whole shape of what you want to work with. So let me take my select zoom, and I'm zoomed into my 1 year. So now I can take my cursor, grab that, and then I'm going to go ahead and group this. And then I'm going to, unzoom. Not select zoom. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, so I click that to see my workspace. I'm going to bring this over here and bring it closer to my workspace so I can use it over there. So now I just need to grab all of these and delete them. So since I have this saved on my computer as an SVG, I can reopen it. So you definitely want to make sure you have it saved as an SVG so you don't lose all of those. But I want this out of my workspace, so I got rid of that. So now I have my 1 year here, and I have it in my workspace. So now let's say I don't want these colors. Personally, I don't want these colors. So what we can do is we can select this shape, and then we're going to ungroup it again. So now, if you can see, I can grab just this purple here. Let me go back. So I can either hold down Shift and grab the purple on the inside and the purple out here, which is fine. But let me show you something that's a little bit easier that I found. Right here, It's up at my top in Business Edition. In Designer Edition, the Select by Color, I think, is on this bottom bar unless they moved it with the update. So what you can do is find this Select by Color. So it's a transparent or white square with a little blue one and then a one right here. So you grab this and go by Fill. Here are all of my fill colors. So let's say I want these purple. I'm going to grab everything that's purple, and I want this to be a frozen theme thing, like a winter theme thing. I have a friend of mine that her little baby is a Christmas baby, so they call her like their little snowflake and everything. So I'm going to go over here and change this to like a tealish color. Of course, you want to change it to a color that you have in vinyl since you'll be cutting it on vinyl. But just so you can see it while you're working with it, then you can change it to one of these colors. So I'm actually going to go to Advanced Options and pick a better color. Okay, so I want that color. So now I can go back to my Select by Color, go by Fill, and now I want this green that I have in here. I want this green to be like a light blue. So I'm going to grab that. I have it selected. And then I'm going to go to Fill and make it this blue. Actually, I'll make it like this blue. Okay, and then we'll go back again. And I want both those greens to be the same color, so I'm going to grab that, turn that blue. I think that's the same. No, I think it's this one, the same shade. And then Select by Color again. I want this red to be a silver. I'm going to do it in silver glitter, so I'll just go ahead and do it like that color. And then I want the circle to be a purple. So I grab that, turn it purple, and look at that. This little frosty frozen thing. Jerry, this bar right here is part of the Business Edition. So this option will be in Designer Edition. I believe it's down towards the bottom of your screen though. So they moved it up in Business Edition because there's a couple other different features in there, but you should be able to find it like right around here or right around here. And I think, Nick, if you're in here, can you open up your Designer Edition and double check that for me? So look, I was able to change all of these colors all together, and I'm going to go ahead and group it to make it easier. So I have this 1 year, and then it's at the bottom. You found it. Great, Jerry. And so what's great about the Designer Edition is I want to cut all of this, but I don't want to break it up and move it around. It's too much work. So here's one fun thing, is you can go to your cut settings, go to Advanced, and now I can cut by fill color. So if I want to cut the silver part first, I would just uncheck all of these. And so now you see this dark stroke line around the gray. That's the cut line. That's what we'll cut. So of course, if you're cutting on heat transfer vinyl, make sure you mirror your design. But you can just go over here, select by color, and then you don't even have to move your design. So how long was I working on that? 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And look, you have a custom 1 year, 1 month, 1 day, whatever you want it to be from our Milestone pack that you can quickly make and press on a onesie. So that is a custom design that way that we were able to put together a pack for you to make it easier. But I'm moving on. So did anyone want me to go over anything again or had any questions about it? I'm going to show you a lot today. Cool. Yeah, I really enjoy this pack because sometimes I'm a last minute gift giver, so I like that I can just run over here, make it, and then move on. So I'm going to go ahead and open up something else. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create a custom split monogram. Let's say you have a couple getting married or they just got a new house or something like that. Have any of you purchased any of our new split monograms? What do you guys think of those? Yeah, they're really cute. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 ways of making a split monogram. The first way will be straight through silhouette, And then I'm going to show you how much shorter it is to do it with the TrueType fonts, why it's totally worth it to purchase those. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type out P, that's my last initial, and then I want this to be more of a classic font, something with what's called serifs, the little tails on there, so I'm going to do Times New Roman, and then I'm going to fill it in to make it easier to see. Okay, so now I want to stretch it out. I want to make it larger. So, I'll make this probably like just under 7 inches wide. So this is a classic one. Of course, you can pick whatever font you want. So the next step is you want to do a little square or rectangle, whichever. Okay, so I have my rectangle here, and then I'm going to select both of these and just make sure I have it centered. So I'm going to my align tools and align the center. So you can see with letters like P's, they get kind of tricky because they're so far to one side. So I actually am going to bring this over. I don't like how that looks. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we have that there. So now for a split monogram, you want this to be split, obviously, but one mistake that a lot of people make is they'll take their knife tool and they'll cut this and stretch it apart. Well, then you're distorting your letter. It's not proportionate to what it is. So what we need to do is we need to select both of these and go to our modify panel, and I want to subtract this out. So hit subtract, and now I split it. Now, one thing to remember when you do your modify panel here is when you do modify the shape on bottom, it's going to break it up. So, so you can see there's two gray boxes around here. So I'm going to go to Object and I'm going to group this. So now it's all together. So the next step is I want my little lines on my split monogram. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my rectangle tool again, and I'm going to do a little rectangle over here. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to fill this in another color so I can see easier what I'm working with. So I have this here, and then I'm going to copy and paste. And so I'm going to grab both of these and I'm going to align them on each other. So align the center. And then I think I want just a little bit, actually I want these to be a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do, since I adjusted that, I'm just going to delete this and then, hold on one second. And then copy, paste. So now those are nice and thinner. So align these on the center. And so now I have this split look here. Well, let me make this black so you can see it. Oh, I have to select them, right? So if I were to cut this right now, it's still going to make those cut lines. So if you see over here, see how there's an overlap there? That's because Silhouette still sees it as two different objects right here. Just because they're on top of each other, it doesn't combine them. So what you want to do is you want to go back over here, and then I'm going to go to see my whole workspace, select everything, and then go to Modify and weld them. So now this is one shape. So if you zoom in, you can see that they're brought together. So now I have my P, my split P, and then I'm just going to type in Nick and Lisa. And then I'm going to pick a nice script font. I bet Nick is laughing right now. He says in every webinar I end up saying oops at something. Oops. So I'm going to pick a cute script font that I like. Let's see. Oh, I like this Conflow one. I'll go to another one. It's not as nice right now. Oh, Dancing Script. This is a good one. Dancing Script. This font, I know you're going to ask me, this font Dancing Script is from fontsquirrel.com. Fontsquirrel.com has nice commercial-free fonts, so you can sell these. So here you go. Nick and Lisa. Have it in there. Go to my Align Tools, Line Center. So now I have my split monogram. So not hard, right? And did any of you want me to go over that again? Did you have any questions? All of you are so smart. Okay. One more time, Jerry? Okay. So let me move this over here. Okay. So now I have my big P. and then I want it to be Times New Roman, and then, oops, and then I'm going to make my shape larger, my P larger, and then do a rectangle. And that's okay if it's dark like that, it's not a big deal. Oh, the website for the font is fontsquirrel.com. Commercial free, which everyone here knows how precious that is. So I'm going to grab both of these, modify, subtract. So you want to subtract the top out of the bottom. Go to Object, group it together. Now I want these two little lines. So go over here, little line 1, select it. And then actually, I remember this shortcut. If I'm holding down the Alt key, if you hold down Alt, it'll duplicate it and bring it down. So Alt, click, bring down, and it'll duplicate it. And then align center. So now I have both of these here. Select everything, modify, weld. You want to make it one shape. And then you type in what you want in the middle. So we'll type in Nick and Lisa. Oops. Nick and Lisa. And then we'll look up dancing script. Bring it in here. So there you go. There's a split monogram made entirely in Silhouette. So now I'm going to show you with the split fonts how it saves you so much time. So if you're doing this for customers, like one of your markets are the bridal market, which is one of my favorite ones since I'm still, well, I guess I'm not a newlywed now that I've been married 2 years, but I'm around weddings all the time. So I'll go over here and type in my P. Okay, so I'm going to come down to our monogram fonts. So I'll go to TRW, simple. I forgot to highlight it. Let me type this in TRW. Simple script. Okay, so now I have this. Look at that. This is already split for me. So all I did was type in the P. I went to simple swirl. So that's probably my favorite one because it, to be honest, it's because it weeds the fastest. That's what I mainly care about. And then I'll type in Nick and Lisa. And this one I'm going to do a contrasting font. And I'm just going to do Times New Roman. It's one of my favorites to do in here. Nick and Lisa. And then let's say I want this to be another color. I'll make it like this. No, I don't want that color. I'll make it purple. Look at that. I have both of these in here aligned in the center. And what was that? That was like a minute, maybe a minute and a half. So if you are on the fence about these split monogram fonts, I mean, look how quick I was able to do that. And it's one step instead of those 5 or 6 steps. So I'm going to go over here and actually, let me get rid of this Nick and Lisa first of all. So we have a couple of these fonts. So one of the other ones is we have these elegant fonts. So we have the elegant knockout swirl. So this is, let me copy and paste it. I like to copy and paste it because it keeps it the same size and the same font. So with this, you do in 2 cases. So this is a capital case and then this is a lowercase. So I'm going to go over here and lowercase it. So now I have both of these, and let me change this color for you so you can see the difference. So now I have my swirl and my letter. I'm going to take both of these, go to my alignment tools, and I'm going to center it. So now you can see that this has a slight knockout around it, slight offset, that you can cut these in 2 colors. You can have it around. And then what's the difference between doing an offset and increasing the line thickness when working with thinner fonts? Jerry, from what I do, that's kind of, it's basically the same thing, just said two different ways. So when you have a thinner font and you increase the line thickness, what you're doing is you're doing an offset. So let me type out this my name and dancing script because that is kind of a thinner font. So you can see it is thin. Fun fact, I have cut this font pretty small. I actually use this font for my glass etching videos. So yes, you just typed there, Maria. No, I can't hear anyone. I'm just reading their comments. So over here, I have my font over here. So I want it this size. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and weld it so I don't have those overlapping lines, and then group it. So now this is an object. It's not font anymore. I can't change it. So what they're doing is when they're making it thicker, they're doing an offset. So what I do is you go up here to our offset panel, go to offset, and so this is a small font. So the default offset of 0.125 is gigantic. So you want to bring it down a lot. So I would say like 0.05 might be good. Even that's a little bit high. So we'll just go ahead with that. So you hit apply. So now I can take this out and then group this and fill that in. So now it's the same font, but it's made thicker. But then of course you don't have the, as much tapering. But when you're doing things like, glass etching, or if you're working with glitter vinyl, things that are thicker, this does make it easier to cut and weed. So those thinner fonts can be tricky, but I mean, look how little that is. It's not even 2 inches wide. So that's kind of how they make it thicker. That's what they say. It's an offset. So that that's kind of what they're talking about, Jerry, when they say increasing the line thickness. And Donna, can you ungroup and take out the swirls? I haven't tried that before because I like the swirls. If you want just a plain letter, I would just find a font that works and change the letter yourself. So, you could do Times New Roman or any of these other fonts. So you probably could ungroup it or use your knife tool, but when it comes to that, you're probably better off just finding a font that works in just that way and going with that. So let me bring this up real quick. Let me get rid of EU knockout font. So what you can do is you can do object and you can convert it to path. So now it's an object, and then what you would have to do is this isn't really like it kind of is a compound path. So you can see like it took out those inner circles, so you don't want that. You want to make it a compound path. And if you want to take out the swirls, you can just kind of take your knife tool and cut out things like that. And like take this. I'm just going to do it real quick, but then you can take that out. But at that point, you basically have a font and 2 lines. So you can just really make your own. But that's it. Did you guys have any questions about that? See how quick that was to do the split monograms? Great. And so how many of you know how to make knockout designs? Bless you, Sergio. Do you all know how to make them? Or do they seem too complicated? Great. Knockout designs are one of my favorite things to make, and they're actually pretty simple. So that's what we're doing right now. So we're going to go ahead and do trick. Oh, I got to type in all caps. Trick, or, and then I'm going to do another line. You could just use your type tool and type it again, but I don't know, I like doing that. Trick or treat. Okay, so for knockout fonts, you want, knockout designs, you want your font to be very thick because your design is going to show up in there. So I'm going to go over here and grab impact font because that's a very, you see that? It's really bold. It doesn't have a lot of tapering, so it's good for what we're doing right now. So trick, or, and so you want to bring in I'm going to stretch this out to, oop, that's a little bit too big. So you want your shirt designs to be like 8.5 to 9 inches wide. Some people like to do larger designs. I don't know. Personally, I don't like it, but it's really up to your preference. So bring this up. Trick or treat. So with knockouts, you want them to be about the same width. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these letters in just a little bit closer. So I'm going to character spacing. That's a little bit too much. Bring that in. Double click so you can modify it. Character spacing. Bring this in. So you can see they came in. Oh, that's a little bit too much. You see my T and R overlap a little bit? Okay. So that's about right. Of course, when you do this, you want to modify it to the best way that you can do it. So I'll have both of these, and I'm just going to align them because oops, not that one. Because I'm really picky about that. I want it to be super aligned. So I'm going to grab probably these three and bring in the character spacing a little bit more. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So trick or treat. And then I am going to bring in a little ghost. Maria, character spacing is important because the shape that you're going to have in here is going to be in the words there. So right here, the design will be in the words, so you want it to show through. So I have my little ghosts here. So this is probably, it looks a little bit different than what you're probably tracing, right? Because what I want is actually white and it's on a black background. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to basically reverse trace it. So I have my little ghosts here, and I'm going to go up to my tracing panel. I'm going to select trace area and grab this. So you can see it's picking it up a little bit. So I'm going to turn off my high pass filter, and I want everything in black selected. I don't want my white selected. So I'm going to grab that, turn up my threshold so I can get all of it, not that high. And then my scales kind of smooths it. So this will make it a little bit of a sharper line. And I'm going to bring my threshold down just a little bit more. And then trace. So now you can see my ghosts here, but it has that box, and so if I were to fill it in right now, it's exactly how it was. Well, what I want to do is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to release the compound path. Okay, I'll do it again in just a second. So now I can take the square out of here, delete it, grab my little ghost, make it a compound path again, and so now I have a ghost. See that? So let me go back. Okay. So I have my little ghost here, and I want everything in black to be traced. So I'll go over to Trace, select Trace Area, select it like always, and so get everything in the black. So turn off the high pass filter because that looks for the contrast. So since it's a flat color, you don't need it to look for variations or anything like that. So turn off your high pass filter, bring up your threshold so you can kind of get a little bit more of that gray that's missing in certain areas. Oops, not that high. Oh, it's a little bit high. Okay, and then bring down your scale to smooth out those edges or make the edges sharper. Trace. And so now you have it that way. So right now, this is the type of compound path where it's reading this is the outside of the shape, and then these are little variations in there. So you want to release compound path, so that way you're telling Silhouette that these lines are not working together. They're all individual shapes. You can see this is its own shape, the mouth, the eyes, their own shape. So you're going to take out this outside square. You don't need it anymore. And so now I want to make a compound path. So I'm telling Silhouette to make this a path again. Like I want all of these shapes to work together. So I'm going to make compound path. Yeah, Marie, the release compound path is the same as hitting compound paths down here under the M over here. So there's the good thing about Silhouette is they give you a couple different ways to get to items. I always like to go through object because it's very similar to some of the other programs I have used in the past. But Silhouette has made a lot of these commonly used functions right here in this panel here. So definitely go with whichever one you find easiest. I like the object, but I know a lot of you like to go through your modify panel. So either way is good. So I'll go ahead and make this other ghost a compound path. So I'm going to grab my ghost, I'm going to copy it and bring it back over here. So I have my little ghost, and I am going to turn him orange. So now I'm going to bring him where I want him to be on my design. Probably, I'm going to make him a little bigger. Okay, maybe just a little bit smaller. Okay, trick or treat. So now I want the words to have the ghost knocked out in there. So what I need to do is I need to copy everything and then make another copy of it. So paste it. So knockouts are a two-step process. So this first one, I'm going to select both of these and go to the Modify panel. And what I want is I want to crop out the words into this ghost. So the first part is I'm going to go to crop. So now I have the ghost shape, but you can see what the words were underneath there. So I'm going to go over here, and I have that. I'm going to group it and then turn this orange again to make it work easier. And so now I have my ghost and my trick or treat. And so now I'm going to select both of these, go to my modify panel, and now I want this ghost taken out of the words here. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit subtract. Oh, I don't know why that happened. So sometimes if that happens, you want to make sure your words are on the bottom. So you're going to send that to the back, and then I'm going to grab my ghost and bring it to the front. So I'm going to select both of these, and now, and so if that doesn't work, that's okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab the trick or treat. These are still two different objects, and I'm going to group it. So I'll go to trick or treat, group it, send it back, and then I just have to make sure. I'm actually going to go back a couple steps and group it without moving the ghost. Okay. So I'm going to hit the bottom one, hold shift, grab the top one, and then group it together. And the reason why I want to do it that way is because I don't want to move this ghost because it's in the same spot as here. So Donna, so what you want is you want your words on the bottom to be one object, because sometimes if you don't do that, what just happened to me was that it starts subtracting out this ghost and the treat from trick, because this was the first thing I made, then treat was second and the ghost was third, so it's taking out both second ones from the top one. So you want one object on the bottom, one object on the top. So I'm going to go up here, select both of these, subtract. So now, look at that, the ghost is taken out of the words. So go over here, go to object, group it together, and then now I have my trick or treat, and then I'm going to use my select tool, bring this over, and use my arrow keys to find the right spot. So now, look at that. That cute little ghost is saying, trick or treat, give me something. So we have this over here, and then I'm going to go back a couple steps. I'm going to show you how to do a knockout around this ghost. So I'm going to go back, Control Z, back, 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 back. Okay, so now for trick or treat, let's say I want a little offset around it. So I'm going to go to this. I have my ghost selected, offset, and then I'm going to bring it down a little bit more, and then apply. So now I have this, and then I'll select my offset. I'm going to fill it in so you can see it. So that's what it's going to look like now. And so see these little spots here? I don't want them. So I'm going to go over to my ghost, and I'm going to release this compound path. and then take this little thing out, take this little thing out, take this little thing out. So now I have my trick or treat here, and then I can select both of these, go to my modify, subtract, and then go to my object, group this again. So now this, I'll have to zoom in a little bit so I can get the spacing right. So I'm going to grab my little ghost and move it around. That looks pretty good, actually. So look, now I have that little space around it. So I like to do that offset because it gives a little space. But yeah, for knockout designs, it's basically crop and subtract. Crop out the bottom, subtract the top. So we have trick or treat here. So you can do this little offset. And so if you did want to do stones around there, you would just increase your offset and then fill in a line of stones there. So it'd be super easy. But look at that. Trick or treat. So do you want me to show you what stones in there? I'm sure you do. You all love it when we do rhinestones. Okay, let me go back. So I'm just going back so I can have the same base. Okay. Let me go back to my first ghost. Yeah, look at all that work I did in there. Okay, let me delete this out. Oops, I grabbed my ghost. So if you want to grab something that's really close, just zoom in. So now I have my offset. Okay, so now I have my offset selected. So now I'm going to go over here, go back to offset. You want it to be a little bit bigger. So 0.125 is good. I'm actually going to make it just a little bit bigger. Actually, let me go back. Okay, let me do an offset. And so let's do 0.35. Apply. So now we have that. And then I'm going to do another offset off my little ghost. So this first offset is to knock it out. The second one is going to be for the stone. So I actually can do it over here for you. So offset 0.125, apply. So now let me go over here, fill in this ghost. So doing a row of stones will be like a couple extra steps, but you know, it looks good. So release this. I want to get rid of these little circles. So shift. Oops, I grabbed the ghost. Okay, so you can do this. We'll go ahead and subtract this out while we're here. Group that together. Because I modified it, it broke up my shape. And so now we have our little ghost over here. And so now I want to get rid of these little circles again. So release compound path again. And here I'm just going to drag a square, delete them. So now I can grab my outline here. What do I click to remove his eyes? I just clicked right on them. And then I'm hitting delete. And so I go over here. Here's my rhinestone panel. I'm going to do edge. So I have a little edge of stones. So that's already set. So I'll go over here, bring this up to trick or treat. And then let me zoom in and make sure I have my spacing good. So you can see there's a little bit more spacing at the bottom and on the side. So that's about right. Of course you want to, when you're working on it, adjust it to the best way you have. So now let me fill in these stones a color so we can see what we're doing. So I'll just do gray. So let me zoom in again, my select zoom tool. And so now you can see the offset with stones, it makes it a little bit bigger, but because because this is still a rhinestone object, I can scale it down a little bit and it's adjusting the stones for me. And then I can just adjust it to how it's fitting best. So this will be a little bit tight. You want to probably do a larger offset if you were to work on it, but that's fine. And so if you tend to have a problem with this, you can always convert it over to SS6 stones as well. Doesn't the ghost go in instead of the words? What do you mean, Jerry? Oh, what are the software options for square rhinestones? Like, do you want the rhinestone designs to go, like the rhinestones to go into a square shape, or you have square rhinestones? Okay. Square rhinestones. Jeff, I'm not entirely sure about that because we don't have a square option in our rhinestone software. If you go to our crafting group on Facebook, Crafting with Rhinestones and Vinyl, they may be able to help you a little bit more than I can when it comes to square rhinestones. The ghost silhouette instead of the words. Oh, wait. Jerry, I don't know why I cannot get what you're saying. You want the ghosts to go instead of the words. Go in. Wait, doesn't the ghost go in instead of the words? I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this, Jerry. The picture of it goes in here. Well, it is. This right here is the ghost. It's just in the word form because you want it to knock out of there. So you want them to still be able to read it. So what you do is you crop the words you crop the ghost out of the words and then you bring it right in there. So what it is the trick or treat has a little ghost in there. So we have that there. So you want it that way. And then let me take, I like it without the stones with this little knockout there. That's what you have. So you have a little knockout there. And so now you can see I'm saying trick or treat, but you can see the little ghost there. No, you don't put the actual ghosty guy in there because then I mean, you can if you want it that way, but with knockout designs, what you want is you want see how, like, does it say truck or does it say trick? Like, you know, you can't, like this one, you can't even see the R because right here, the knockout, you want to read the whole thing, but say, oh, there's a little shape in there, you know? So that's kind of what knockout designs are. So it seems a little strange at first, but then you're knocking the shape out of the word. It's basically, you know, doing that. So that's our little trick or treat knockout design. I don't know, maybe if you all are really nice, we might have this as a free silhouette only design after. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. We've got 10 more minutes in here, so we'll kind of see how that goes. Maybe, maybe not. It all depends. So I'm going to make one more design for you. Before we go, we've got about 10 more minutes. I'm going to make another Halloween design. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a new document here. So I'm going to use my little ghosts again. And I'm going to grab this one. And bring this over here. Maria, that's a good idea. I'm going to do it in my next one. Right, today I'm just going to do Halloween design since we have a lot of our customers working on Halloween ones. But yes, I will definitely do something pink for cancer awareness. Matt's wearing a nice bright pink cancer awareness knockout shirt today, actually. Okay, so I have my little ghost here. So what I'm going to actually, no, I'm going to leave it this way for now. So I'm going to leave him over here. So Nick, my husband, likes to call me Boo. Do you guys ever hear that? Like, it's like a term of endearment, like, hey, Boo. I don't know. I don't know where he got it from, but he's just been doing it for years and years, so that's what he calls me. So I'm going to make this cute little Halloween shirt that says, I'm not your Boo. I'm not, and then I'm going to bring it over here, your Boo. So with designs, I'm sure all of you have picked up fonts are everything. Like the font you choose really makes a difference. So I was going through today and I was trying to find a good font and I found this one. I don't know. I can't read it. I don't even know what it is. It's Baby. Oh, it's up here. Baby Cruffy. But I don't know. It looks like Halloween-y to me, like a little kid Halloween thing. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out a little bit. I'm not, and then I'll fill this in orange because it's Halloween. And then your boo, I'm going to go ahead and make that font again. I'm not your boo. So right here, fill this in orange. But look at this. This font, it overlaps. Do you see that? So if you send that to your cutter right now, well, if you send it right now, it's not mirrored, so you can't put it on a shirt. But if you send it to your cutter right now, look at that. It's going to cut all those lines because it's not reading it as one shape. So what you want to do is, who knows what to do? Let me ask. All of you are really smart, so I'm sure you know what to do, but you don't want to speak up. Yep, you weld it. So go over here, and I'm going to weld them together. And don't forget, when you weld something, it's reading it. It's not words anymore. So like these apostrophes are going to be separated out. So make sure you group it. You want all these together. So group. So now I'm going to bring this in a little bit. I'm not your boo. And then, oops, bring this over here. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to change this ghost around. Jerry, I could have changed the character spacing. You're totally right. I kind of liked that they overlap. I liked the spacing there, but it's really up to you. If you want them to be separate, go ahead and do that. I just wanted them to be that same spacing to keep them together. I thought it was cute. So I want my ghost to be angry about it. You know, I want him to be like, you know, look at this ghost. I'm surprised you're calling me my boo. No. This ghost is laying down the law and saying, I'm not your boo. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to release this compound path. I'm going to delete that mouth. We're not surprised here. So I want a frowny face. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my arch tool and click once, click again, and bring that down. Actually, I don't like that. I changed my mind. That font is called like Baby Cruffy or something along those lines. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to make this little like oval shape. Okay, so I have my oval, and I'll fill it in so you can see. Actually, no, I'm not going to fill it in. So I have my oval, and I just want this frowny part of it. So I'm going to take my knife tool and cut. I don't think I cut it enough. Cut. So now I have that. So now I have my frowny face. So I'm going to edit it, make it a little more frowny. And then I need to make it a little shorter. And so what is, look at that. I'm not your boo. Look at that face. But right now, if I cut it, it's not going to cut out that way. So I need to do an offset of that real quick. So do an offset. Bring it down that way. Apply. I'm not your boo. So of course, you modify it whichever way is best for you. This is like my quick little frowny face thing. It almost looks like a walrus mouth in a way. But you know what I'm doing here. You know what I'm saying. So make compound path. So now what I'm going to do, just so you can see how it's going to look on a shirt, I'm going to make a square over this. And I'm going to make it black. After I select the square. Guys, I get ahead of myself so much doing that. Ugh, I can't see anything. Oh, that's easy. Just right click it and send it back. So now everything's up front again. And then I'm going to grab my ghost and make him white, like I'm going to do like white glitter vinyl or something. Look at that. I'm not your boo. So, of course, you can always modify it. Like, let's say you want to do a little rhinestone outline around this ghost. You want him to really sparkle. And so I'm going to do an offset on him. Apply. And then my offset is still selected because I've made one. So I'm going to go to my rhinestone panel, do an edge. And so you can see I have my rhinestone edge here. Let me fill them in for you. And then look at those two little rhinestones in his eyes. So you're going to go to Rhinestone panel, release them. So now they're all individual rhinestones. Go up here. Dink. Dink. Got rid of them. So now I have those rhinestones again. And then now that I put rhinestones in, I need to bring my font up. So look at that. I'm not your boo. This little ghost, he's all cranky. Like, don't call me that. But look, that's like a quick little Halloween design that you could set up. Obviously, you want to use, you know, you adjust it to whatever font you want to use and adjust the ghost however you want. But look at that. We have this little Halloween, I'm not your boo. Then we also have our trick-or-treat ghost here. So we went through like a couple custom designs here. You all, oh, you missed when the rhinestones are added. It happened so fast. Yeah, Silhouette makes it so easy. Let me go ahead and I'm going to just show you with one of these ghosts. So we have our ghost here. Let me select all of these and select all of these. Let me move it out of the way. Okay, so we have an object here. So I want to offset. Offset. I'm just going to take the default one, apply. And so now, right now, what's selected, after you make an offset, it keeps the offset line selected. So whenever I want to do a rhinestone outline around something, I like to do it in these two steps because it's the quickest. So I have my offset made, it's still selected. Go to Rhinestones, Edge, and it's made that rhinestone edge there. So look at that. it does an offset on the, the inside part. So sometimes it's a little bit weird. So you have to go over here to release rhinestones. And so now every rhinestone is its own property. So go to release rhinestone. And so now you can select these other rhinestones. So shift, shift, shift. So look, now I have that rhinestone outline around the ghost. So look at that. It was real quick. It's so easy. So I have that. Donna, yes, we record these webinars. It's recording right now, so we try to get them up on our YouTube channel within a week. I have a couple of my webinars I'm going to try to get up today, so I'll try to get this one up in the next couple of days for you so you can go back since I went through so many things today. And Maria, yes, it does work with words as well. You can do the edge. So you would do an offset and then do an edge. So that's how you do it around words. It's great for knockouts. So a lot of people will do that around a knockout. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to group it together. I want this to be one shape right now while I do this. So go to offset. And so you can see it's around all these words. So I want to increase the offset. Whoa, that's a lot. And hit apply. So this one, it's not as bad. It has all this in here. So when you do an offset around the words, what I like to do is I go to Object and Release Compound Path. It takes all this apart. And I take the outline that I want, move it, select all of these, delete it. I find it a lot easier than selecting all of these and then getting rid of them. So now we have our edge. I'm going to take my alignment tool, center it on there. So now I have it perfectly centered. Grab my edge again, my offset, and then go to Rhinestone, hit edge. So look at that. I have my little rhinestone outline around Trick or Treat. So if you were to do this, you could adjust it. So like, let's say you don't want them in these parts here. Then you just go to you click your rhinestones, release them like I just did earlier. And then you can select all of these. So I'll hit shift and select a bunch of these stones. Delete. Oh, I missed a couple. Look at that. So many squares. And then I can just like move this one to fill it in. And then here, grab all of these. And sometimes I like to delete while I'm in the middle of them because all these boxes just bother me. There's so many. And then I'm just going to stretch and delete those. And then let's see, I want to do a single click and then put one little stone here. So, and it filled it in when I did that. That's funny. Let me go over here and fix that. So you can either release them and just have it all through here, or you can keep them where they are. It's really up to you. So let me delete those. Concerned about cutting the sticky flock and the stones are too close to cut correctly. In my experience with Silhouette and working with rhinestones, right here, if you put them in, the default spacing that Silhouette does, it's pretty good. I've cut straight from Silhouette and some rhinestone designs that I've done, and it's been fine. The main point with this is that you just don't want your stones to overlap or touch, and just do test cuts. Make sure your blade is sharp enough and that you're getting the right settings with your Silhouette, and to make sure you're doing a double cut. So I've had a lot of questions in the past couple of days about Silhouettes messing up, or, you know, why is this sliding? I always say test cut. It doesn't matter if this is your 50th time cutting this material. You know, every batch of sticky flock or vinyl could be slightly different. Your blade could have been used, you know, if you are a crafter and you cut paper, paper's going to wear down your blade much faster than vinyl will. And sticky flock wears down your blade much faster than vinyl does as well. So always do a test cut, because you never know what could be different. And so I always say that no matter what, do a test cut. And if your test cut's good, if you're not cutting through the back of your sticky flock, so make sure that you don't, when you're cutting, if it sounds like you're cutting paper, you're cutting through the back of your sticky flock, you need to stop right away. So what I do is I will do my test cut, peel up, see if that triangle weeded cleanly, and then I feel the back. So if I feel the back and it's cut through the back, my settings are too high. If you can tell that there's a clear indent through there, you might want to take it down just a little bit, because there's the potential of cutting through the backing at certain parts, depending on how long your cut is going. And then, Donna, if you want to do this for your car, you would just cut this part out in your decal vinyl, and then this part out you'll do on sticky flock, and you're going to brush your stones in, and then you're going to press your stones to the Bling Anything decal material. And that's what you press it to, and that's what you're able to put on your cars. So you would do your Bling Anything decal material, you press your stones to that, and then on top of the Bling Anything material, you'll put on your vinyl decal. Jerry, there is an easy way to space out the rhinestones. Right now I can't do it because I've released the rhinestones, but let me show you with the circle. So we have our circle here. And take out that fill. It's driving me crazy. Take out the fill, and then we have our rhinestones. I'll do my edge right here. So you can either go through here and, you know, I'll stretch it out. But right here you have your spacing panel, and so I'm increasing my spacing right here. So you can bring it down. The lowest is 0.039, which is the default they give you. But you can increase them if you feel a little uncomfortable with that spacing. So you can increase it. I've found in my experience that smaller spacing is totally fine, but of course, you know, you want to do with what you're comfortable with. Do rhinestones stick to the glitter vinyl? No, they do not. If you're pressing rhinestones, you need to press it directly to your garment or directly to your Bling Anything decal material. If you do press it to your vinyl, they will come up. They won't stay. So yes, you press it right to your garment or your Bling Anything decal material, not to your vinyl. But we're 5 minutes over. We're a little bit over, which is fine by me. I don't care. But I'm sure all of you have many things you want to get to, and of course get to designing with your cool new tricks that I taught you. Did any of you have any other questions you wanted me to go over, or seems pretty good? All of you are so smart. You guys are the best. Cool. So what I'm going to do is this design right here, this Trick or Treat Knockout, I'm going to go ahead and put this up. I'm going to put it as a free silhouette only design. And what I'll do is I'm going to make it on our website, but it's going to be a secret item. So everyone in here that attended, you're going to get an email with a link to download this design. So it's a secret design only for us, and so you'll be able to download that. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you all go. I really enjoyed hanging out with all of you and showing you some cool, fun stuff. Of course, if you ever have any ideas for webinars, things you want to learn, you can always email us, info@therhinestoneworld.com, or call us at 941-755-16, and we will see you soon. And look out in your email to get a link to this design. See you later, guys.